take back
Yeah.
over. Did you guys watch the Redeem Team?
I did.
I did.
finished it.
It was great.
What'd you guys think?
That was really good. I mean, I think the Dream Team obviously was the best one out of like the two documentaries, but I like seeing like the side of Coach K that I've never seen before.
Yeah, I
didn't
agree. I
realize-
like Coach K.
I didn't realize he was such a swear guy. He's cussed like a sailor all the time. I didn't realize that.
I like that. I did not expect to come out of it thinking, "Oh wow, I kind of like Coach K now." I've never really liked him, and that was a kind of a changing of my attitude as far as that was concerned. Are you, Brad?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was like, super cool to see all those shots of Kobe that we haven't seen before, all those videos.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be a flat out liar if I told you I didn't get choked up a few times. I had to pause
For
it.
real. Yeah,
I had to
it was,
pause it
yeah.
and walk away a couple times when Kobe and Gigi were on the screen. I just had to
Seriously.
I can't.
Yeah.
sit
I
and watch this right now.
I also totally forgot that Carlos Boozer was on that team. For
Why did Carlos Boozer get the most interview time out of
he's
everybody?
he's probably the only guy that was available. The other guys probably said, I'm good."
I mean, they interviewed everybody, but there was like 15 clips of Carlos Boozer talking.
Yeah, but Boozer's not really doing anything now. The other guys are doing something.
Well, the thing I did think was the most interesting, I thought it was pretty funny. That was executive produced by LeBron and Dwayne Wade, right? Like they paid for most of that to get done. I did find it very funny. Like if you go back and look at how bad that 2004 Olympic team, how bad that situation was, I found it really funny how much they blamed Larry Brown in the documentary and how much it wasn't their fault. And I'm the biggest LeBron guy there is, but I'm not trying to say, hey, you're changing history a little bit, but it was pretty funny. Like Larry Brown literally had just won a championship with the Pistons the year before that.
Mm-hmm.
And they acted like this dude was like an abysmal coach. Like he was such an idiot. And it's like, you guys were like 18 or 19. You guys weren't even trying to take it seriously. Like, I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. And then it was like a lot of them being interviewed. It was very favorable to old Bron and D Wade. Rightfully so. They paid for it.
As it should be. They paid for it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they paid for it.
All
All right, Bernie, take over.
Yeah, let's move on. This will also be included in the clip for all NBA teams. But we're here to talk about, you see every person here on this list. There's a ton of basketball players here. We are going to be doing here on the channel, guys, are all NBA teams. I think that this is going to be one of the most highly debated topics in the NBA. We know the implications of an all NBA team, the monies, the incentives, the accolades. This is where players are made, and this is what kind of shows you what players currently are going to be the guys moving forward for that's basically they are the top 15 NBA players. I know that when it comes to this award, there's the center position that's strictly center, but I think all three of us can agree that we'll change a little bit of it to kind of fit our narratives that we're trying to start here on the channel, and so. I think the best way to start it is by looking at all these players. I think that I have 75 players here. Obviously, we're all going to either agree or disagree on somebody. But why don't we start with the All NBA third team? Why don't we start with just throw out one name that you guys would want to see on your NBA third team?
I think Anthony Edwards is third team this year.
Anthony Edwards, whoa. You really do love him, Pete.
I wanted to put him second team because I really thought my initial reaction to, or I guess my initial writing this down, I put the Timberwolves pretty high in my how well I thought they were going to perform in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't help. I totally agree with you, Brad. You weren't here for it, Bernie, but we were talking about how messy and unorganized the old Timberwolves looked. So I do think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be a slow process in the first maybe 25 games for them getting it turned around. But I do think if they end up having a very good regular season, that will come as a result of Anthony Edwards taking the reins of the team and being the focal point of the offense, being the leader. And if he can do that, I think he should be on the third team, probably. I wanted to put second team, but like I said, I think it'll be slow at the beginning.
Yeah. Brad, who you have on this list for third?
Give me James Harden, the beard.
Oh,
Beard.
Brad, I love this pick, Brad.
Fear the Beard is back
Oh
on here.
yeah.
He's in
He's
shape.
he's back. Oh yeah.
Love that pick.
They're gonna win a bunch of
I'd even
games.
consider putting him higher.
I wanted to put him on second. Actually, you know what?
I thought about it, Brad.
You know what? Let me switch that. Put Booker on third team. We'll put the Beard on second. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
I'll put Booker here. Yeah,
I like that a lot. Can I tell you guys something? I didn't even put Booker on my teams.
I didn't want to, but he made first team last year, and like he has a lot of clout, and the narrative is there, and that's a lot of the voting. Honestly, I feel like.
All right, I'll give you my NBA third team guy. I think this is someone that I think a lot of people won't consider putting him on the list, but I'm gonna put Darius Garland on this NBA third team. I think
Bernie.
I think a lot of people are going to sleep on this guy because they obviously, if we look at the list last year, you have your regulars, you have your Bookers, you have your Stephs and all those guys. But I think Darius Garland as a point guard, he plays it the right way. Again, to me, like I talked about numerous amount of times, he is the more athletic version of Steve Nash. Like his ability to pass the ball, his ability to just dribble, get into spaces, and just create for his teammates. I think that just takes him above and beyond a lot of these other point guards that are currently, kind of, I would say, aging out. Like I would say, Chris Paul is one of those guys. Like I think Darius Garland is going to start to take his place as kind of one of the top point guards in the league. And I think that the Cavaliers will have the record to kind of show that Garland is going to be a top point guard. And I think that that's kind of what the all NBA teams are looking for, the people that vote on this stuff. And so I got Garland on the third team, man. I think he's going to be really good.
I have Garland on my third team as well.
Oh,
Garland and Anthony Edwards as my guards on third team.
All right.
My other guard on third team is actually Ja Morant.
Ja Morant, third team. That's gonna get a lot of people, especially of the Sean category, very upset.
Honestly, I was wondering, Bernie. I was wondering if Brad was even going to put Ja on any.
Honestly,
he was thinking about it. I could hear it in his eyes. I could hear it in his voice.
He'll be the whole engine for that team, though. So he'll put up numbers, and he has the clout. So I'll give it to him.
And he had that great play in the preseason.
One thing that goes in your favor, Brad. I know I bring this up every time we talk about Ja, but there is no guy that I get more worried of. Like this dude could
Dylan
just
Brooks?
miss 30, 35, 40 games at any given time. Ja, he could just miss like a half of the season at any given time, and it would be not shocking to me. And I hope that's not true by all accounts. I'm not rooting for that. I just. The way he plays, how fast and how high he jumps,
out of control.
Players like that get hurt, man. I always get scared with stuff like that. And if you're going to make all NBA, you got to play all your games or most of them.
I think he's going to get screwed by Dylan Brooks. I think Dylan Brooks is just going to shoot the crap out the ball, and I think
Dylan Brooks is going to get shipped out.
They're going to lose him some games. Who else you got on that list?
What's your problem with Dylan Brooks, Bernie?
You tell me you don't have a problem with Dylan Brooks and his shot selection?
He is a black hole. He does not pass.
He shoots the ball if he touches the ball.
He reminds me of oh man, I don't know if you'll get this one, Brad. We used to have someone on the C team. I think when we were like either sophomores or juniors, and his nickname was Black Hole because he would just shoot it every time he got it. I don't know if you remember that kid.
I don't remember.
It's kind of like
that's funny though.
He's kind of like a almost forward body size Dion Waiters. Like he's just gonna shoot the ball if he's got the
pretty
ball,
much. Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
He's less confident looking Dion Waiters.
All right, let me give you someone else on my third team. I'm gonna go with where is he? I don't even see him on this list right now. That's not a good sign. He's somewhere here. He's somewhere here.
Looks like he's not making third team.
You know what? I'm gonna put Jimmy Butler on the third team.
Jimmy Butler. Whoa.
I think again. I think we both all. I think at least me and Pete. I think we're in agreement with the Heat, and taking a step down this year. And I think that it's not going to be Jimmy Butler's fault, but I just think the pieces around him aren't as strong as they were last year or even the year before that. And so I think Jimmy Butler is still going to get on the third team. The stats are still going to be there for Jimmy, but at the end of the day, he's going to get shafted because of his team, and so that's why I have to put him on the third team.
I have. My first forward, I have Kevin Durant in third team this season.
Kevin Durant, third team. You're absolutely crazy, man. You're crazy.
Nah, dude, I think the Nets are not going to be good this season. I mean, he'll be good. It's Kevin Durant. He's going to be good. But I think the Nets I just don't see it, man. I just don't. I think they have a lot of talent, but don't think the coaching is good enough to fix the issues they have. I think you need a legitimately creative, good schematically sound coach to work with what they have. And I don't think Steve Nash is that, even though I don't think he's the root of all their problems. But I just don't see a really great season coming for them. Like I find it absolutely astounding that people think they're going to win 50 games. I think that's beyond logic to me, based on what's going on with the team. You have no idea when these dudes are going to play. KD will have a good season no matter what, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to have him go ahead of some of these other guys that I have on my list on second and first team. Do I think he's worse than the guys I have in second and first team? Of course not, but success matters.
I'm going to have to veto that probably at some point.
I worry about KD's health. I don't know. He might not play enough games.
Yeah, that's true. Brad, do you have anyone else?
I actually had KD on my third team as well.
Let's go, Brad. What about that? Bernie going to veto both of us?
Yeah, I might have to veto both of you.
I worry about his health, but
he's got filibustered, buddy.
I got Anthony Davis on third team too.
AD?
He's my center on third team.
Ooh, I had him in the forward spot.
I mean, he's basically
yeah, he is, but I put him as center. It kind of came down to him or Rudy Gobert, and I think AD's going to have a better season than Rudy, so.
That's fair. I put Rudy on third team actually, so that's my center.
My fifth final, my fourth or second forward, excuse me. Wow, I just said every number except what I was looking for. I have Kawhi as my other forward on third team.
I agree with Kawhi there. I was going to actually pick him. I didn't see him on my list before I picked Jimmy Butler, but he was also on my list as well.
And the weird thing is, I actually think I don't think him and Paul George will both make it. So I went back and forth of like, do I put Paul George in the spot or do I just think Kawhi he's going to play enough games, but it's close. Like even Kawhi is healthy, but you still have to wonder, is he going to play 50 games, 55 games? Because he's going to sit out a lot of those games too. So
yeah.
Plus their team is so loaded. Their 12th player is like the fourth best player on the Lakers. So I'm sorry. Look at that Clippers team. They are stacked to the gills. They're nuts. But yeah, Kawhi, I don't think he can get much higher than third team. First year back after a couple years out, and with just how many other options shooting they have.
Yeah. Well, I think that covers it for third team, unless you guys have another player that should be in there.
I want to
remove Devin Booker from third team.
We can definitely remove Devin Booker. We can definitely remove him.
All right. Goodbye.
My honorable mention would be Brandon Ingram. I think with how many games the Pelicans will win, and him and Zion being that like 1A, 1B tandem, I think he should garner some votes.
I like that.
Definitely agree with that.
I love that Dylan Brooks is in that little that tier list picture right there. I just keep looking at his face out of all those guys.
Well, this is the top 75 players in the league, so
top 75.
Hey, if you're 75, you're 75.
Next to each other.
Well, actually, it'd be 74 and 75. Dylan Brooks, Marvin Bagley. All right, let's go all NBA second team. I think this one might have a little bit more debate to it, just because I think obviously if one guy doesn't make the first team, they're obviously on the second team. Who belongs on the second team? Go ahead, Brad.
Ice Trae, give him that. Hawks are going to win a bunch of games.
Have him there too.
He's already up. I love it. I had to put him above Ja. There's no way. Like, Bernie, I know you saw my poll on Instagram. Ja won that poll by a bunch, but Trae Young is a better player, and he's going to prove it with a better Hawks team this year.
You think, hold on, Brad. You think undeniably Trae Young is a better player than Ja Morant?
Absolutely. Just because, hear me out. Okay, on defense, Trae is the worst defender in the league, but Ja is not much better. You know, we saw Pat Beverly cook him absolutely every time in the playoffs. Yeah. But Trae can score. Like, if you break it down, scoring, Ja can score, Trae can score. But the way they do it is different. Jaws is easier to game plan for in the playoffs. Like we saw the Timberwolves give him a hard time. But teams like the Warriors were able to I guess he was kind of cooking them until he got hurt. But Trae can shoot is my main point. Trae can shoot and he spreads the defense, so it gives opportunity to the rest of his teammates. And I know you got to account for Ja's speed, but I just think he's easier to game plan for. You got to be able to shoot in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they're not as far off as I like. When I think of them just on the surface of like first reactions, I always think Ja's better, but they're really not that far off. Plus, like,
Yeah,
Trae's passing is definitely better than Ja's, and his just playmaking in general is definitely
exactly.
just a little bit better, at least a little bit better. Yeah, that's close. And I'll tell you right now, I actually they're both my guards for second team. I had them both there, so it's fitting that we have them next to each other, or that you think he's better.
Hey.
All right. I guess I can go next. I'm gonna put your boy Pete on all NBA second team.
RJ Barrett?
My goodness!
I wish that was the case for you, but no. I'm gonna put
Jalen Brunson.
I'm gonna put Jokic. Jokic on the All NBA second team.
I got him too. Nice.
I think Bernie. I'm just like he's leaving him off. Bernie hates Jokic.
No, I love Jokic. You know I'm a European guy. You know I love my Europeans. But I think I have to put Jokic on the second team because obviously the first guy maybe depends on some health stuff. But I think for me, Jokic, I think they're going to take a little bit, like I said in my preseason rankings, I think they're going to take a little bit of a step back. I want to see how both Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray play together and like how they can kind of coexist again, because I think it's going to take those guys some time to get back into it, especially Murray with the amount of games that he missed and basically missing the whole entire year. And then of course, Michael Porter Jr. with the back issues, it continues to be a problem for them. And so I think that it's going to be a tough task on Jokic to carry the team once again. And I just think that he's going to be able to do as much as he can, but I still think it's going to be a lot to carry for a guy that, again, consistently never gets hurt, but his teammates do, and it just leaves him in a bad situation. And so I think he's going to have the stats to get him the All-NBA second team, but I think it's the record that's going to stop him from being an All-NBA first team.
See, I have Jokic on second team as well, but it's not for the same reason. I would not be surprised if Denver is like a shocking 1 or 2 seed in the West for some people. Like they're better than people think they are. You know, they won. What was their final record last season? I think they won 50 games, didn't they? Or 49 games. And that was literally Jokic doing that on his own. He has Michael Porter Jr., he has Jamal Murray back. I like their offseason a lot in Denver. The only problem, and this is the reason I'm just going to spoil, I have Joel Embiid in first team as center. I think that the 76ers, the more I look at it, they're the 1 seed in the East to me. I've officially come around. I think 76ers will be the number 1 seed in the East, and I think Joel Embiid is going to be at least first team All-NBA, maybe MVP. I'll save that take for later, though. Talk about MVP in a little bit. So I agree with you, Bernie, but not as strongly because the Denver Nuggets won't be necessarily as good as the 76ers, just because the 76ers, if there's any team in the league that has a chance to win 60 games this season, I think it's the 76ers.
All right. Who else is getting on this? Who else is getting on the second team for you guys?
Second team. I also have LeBron on second team.
Wow.
I put LeBron as one of my forwards.
Wow.
I also have Coach James on second team.
Sounds like you guys are a bunch of La haters right now. The La haters.
Nah, there's just no way he's going to be able to have the stats and the record that the guys above him have, or at his position. There's just no shot. There's no shot. Their team is just not good enough. He's gonna have insane stats, still qualify for NBA second team, which when you're 38, 39 is still insanely good. Like that's mind blowing. You're still one of the 10 best players in the league by all metrics. But he even second team, I honestly debated putting him on third team just because I worry about the Lakers so much. But yeah, I second team is comfortable for LeBron. I think that's where he lands.
Dang. All right, Brad, who else you got on this LNBA second team?
Give me the big Diesel Jr., Zion.
Where are you at, Zion?
He's my other forward too, Brad.
Let's go. Yeah, the Pelicans are going to win a bunch of games, and he's going to, if he stays healthy, God willing, knock on wood, he's going to be breaking more of Shaq's records, and that's going to put him on second team pretty easily. I genuinely had him 2 years ago, and I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going to be a better player. I think he's going
very close to being on first team. I was very close, but I thought it was a little too presumptive of me to do that. But I would not be shocked if Zion's all NBA first team by the end of the season.
I agree, absolutely. I was just concerned like about the health. I think he might miss a couple
Yeah.
games here and there. Yeah.
And you do have to wonder too. I think something that's pretty important for him is like, is he going to be the guy that takes the last shot for that team? I actually don't think he is. I think that
Gotta
would
be
probably.
Ingram.
I think it's either
Yeah.
Ingram or even CJ might take shots at the end of
Yeah.
games. So
Yeah.
that's tough as far as being like, first team All NBA. You have to be your team's go-to guy every night, no matter
Although
what.
Giannis and Middleton.
True, but yeah, I mean, Giannis is a little different though. Giannis is more like the guaranteed version of what I think Zion can do this season.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Even then, I still think Zion has a good shot to be first team, even if he's not taking his team's final shots. It's just more, I think that will work against him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will agree with you guys for LeBron. I was gonna try to do my LeBron homer pick, but I think second team is probably more realistic for him. Just with the fact that this team, already looking a little shaky. I know it's the preseason, and so a lot of people are, there's the Laker fans that are crying and yelling that, hey, we need to get rid of Westbrook, and they're absolutely like in panic mode right now, like it's World War III over there in southern LA. And then you also have the Laker fans that are just like, the season will be fine, everything will be okay. Just get those two guys healthy with AD and LeBron, and I think you'll be fine. And so again, the Laker fans, it's always one pessimistic, one optimistic, and it just continues that never-ending yin and yang with the Laker fans. And so, yeah, I mean, I think LeBron deserves to be on that team. And then I think I had KD on the second team. I just think that KD is going to have the stats to do just enough for the NBA second team. Now, is he going to be a guy that's going to be with the record that they need for it? Probably not, because I think that my concern is, of course, like you said, Brad, health for not only KD but also Kyrie as well. If KD and Kyrie are both injured all the time, this team will definitely falter and will definitely fall below expectations, which I think that at this point the expectations are pretty low from us, at least, because we both all, or I should say all three of us, kind of said that they were a play-in team. And so that's kind of where I'm at with KD on the second team. The stats will be there, but I don't think the record will be.
Yeah.
Agreed. Although I do want to say I think they've looked better than what I thought they would be in preseason.
Wait until
Steve Nash
wait until they have to play half court. Wait till they have to play half court. That to me, that's going to be the biggest test for the Brooklyn Nets, playing in the half court setting, because in the playoffs you're going to have to play in the half court. In the regular season, the game that Skip Bayless loves to bring up whenever I try to not tune in, but whenever I'm just like, okay, let's see what they have to say. Let's see if they say anything good this time. It continues to be the same talking point. The 40-point game in Utah for Ben Simmons. It's done. That's a half court that's a whole full court transition thing. I need to see the Brooklyn Nets in a half court. What are they going to be able to do on offense and defense? Because they've shown time and time again that they can't do it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in such a weird spot, man. The thing with KD, and this is the reason I had to put him in third team, is really not only because we don't know what they're going to be, but also like if any one of those top three dudes on that team misses any amount of time, they're not that far off the Lakers. I know their depth is a little bit better than it was last season, especially after they made the trade for Harden, or not for Harden, but for Simmons. But I don't know, man. I really don't like their team. I still have Ben Simmons. Who's Ben Simmons? Has he changed anybody's mind in any way from the preseason as far as what he is as a guy? Like, if you thought he was trash 3 years ago, he's not that different. He's the same guy. So, that energy, people. That's all I'll say. I defended Ben then. I don't think they're very good now. I don't like him.
He's still the same player from 3 years ago, and that's okay.
100%.
But in a different setting, at least. Like, I don't know. The setting might help him, but
it makes more sense. It makes more sense with this team, but it's still not what they need necessarily.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. And does anybody else have any other second team people, or should we move on to the All NBA first team?
I want to give a sneaky one for second team, actually. If all things go right and they're able to mesh, give me Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, okay.
They're going to win a bunch of games. I think he'll average a career high in assists, passing to Mobley and Jarrett Allen, so that'll help his numbers. He usually plays a bunch of games, so
Yeah,
he should have the stats.
I have him there as well as one of my guys. I kind of had, I don't know why I did this, but I didn't even put him in third team as a consideration. Oh, Donovan Mitchell. I didn't even have him as a consideration for third team, but I had him as like my alternate to Trae in second team, or Trae or Ja. But I agree with you. I honestly think the only reason I didn't put him there is just because we have the track record with Trae and Ja on their respective teams. But in the most realistic, most likely situation, I think Cleveland is the best team out of those three, personally. And I mean, there's a chance that they're a top three, top four seed this season. So I'm definitely high on Mitchell getting one of these spots. I think he'll have an insane season. And we were texting about the other night. I mean, Mitchell is actually playing defense in Cleveland so far. I know it's preseason, but I saw him play more defense in 2 preseason games than I saw in Utah all last season. So
and pass to his big men more.
exactly. If I see that from Donovan Mitchell, if that is what he's doing and he's still like 27 or 28 a game, I mean, man, he's legit got a chance for first team if that's the case, but definitely possible for second team.
Let's see here. I think I had from one of my other second team guys, I had Luka.
Luka on second team. Whoa.
He's guaranteed first team for me.
Yeah, every year, man.
Not with this team. Not with this team that I have cooking up.
I see what you mean. That team is
first
bad,
team.
but like
even more
all
reason.
the hype and the stats, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the All NBA team. And if I'm keeping it real, I think that we get blinded by the stats. We get blinded by like the amazing plays, but like we really need to. I'm not saying we need to be like analytical nerds about it, but we need to like have a balance between okay, like this guy is clearly, you know, when you see it live, like yeah, this is clearly an All NBA second guy or first guy, and then when the stats are there, like well, he's actually more of like an All NBA second guy. I just feel like if they were able to like do the balance of both, I think it'd be so much better. But that's just me.
I agree with you 99% of the time, but Luka is, out of all these guys, the perfect example of if he can take that team to the playoffs, even like a 6 seed, a 5-6 seed for Dallas with the people around him and the stats we know he's going to put up, that to me is guaranteed first team.
Yeah,
that's first team. Like, I agree with you in theory, Bernie, because like I'm much more of the opinion that team success, not team sex, team success should matter. That should matter a lot. That should matter a lot for these awards. But that's going into it. Like team success with that Mavericks team is like that's like a little bonus point for him.
Yeah. All right. Should we go?
He gets the benefit of not having a position either. Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right. Brad, lead us off.
First team, I'm gonna start with Steph Curry, the Golden Boy.
Bordell.
Yes, sir. They're gonna win a bunch of games. He's their engine.
Yep. If I can find him, I'll put him there. Where is he on this list? There's so many players on this list. I wish they would just get rid of some of these guys.
Yeah, there's dudes on that list, Bernie, that are like, why did anybody waste their time collecting some of these?
God dang it. So if you find Steph Curry, let me know. Let me know if you find him in this. Like, oh, there he is. There's Waldo. All right, Curry. Boom. I can go next. Just really quick. I think Tatum's gonna make an All NBA first team.
I have him on my first team too.
I like how you went with the Celtics pick.
Yeah, just for the bias. Someone has to be a homer on this. Someone with a good team has to be a homer.
True.
Someone with a good team. Someone without a good team without a coach.
Oh my goodness!
don't be sleeping on Missoula, man. I think he's gonna do a great thing up there in Boston with that team. I think that they're gonna really respond well to that guy. But I just think Tatum's gonna come back with a vengeance. I think that the injury from last finals, and I'm not saying that's the excuse as to why the Celtics lost. I think there's a bunch of different things that you could say about the Celtics from that game. But I think he's going to want revenge in terms of, okay, I need to show that I am that guy. And I think you were starting to see it a little bit. But then as soon as he got hurt, the bad habits came back for Tatum. And I think that's the reason why they kind of felt faltered, especially in that game 3, which they should have won. But I think Or actually, which game was it? Was it game 2 or game 3? I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been game 3.
Game 3. Because they won game 2. They went up 2-0.
It's 3.
Yeah, it was 3. They definitely should have won it. They should have been up 3-0 and created a pressure situation. But I think this is going to be a Tatum respond year, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, you guys have said my first 3. I have Steph, Luka, and Jason Tatum as my 3 first team All-NBA players so far.
Okay.
Me too. Yeah.
4th is Giannis, obviously. I mean, Giannis and Luka, if there's anybody or any 2 players that should just be penciled in for the next 5 years, it's the 2 of them. Just pencil them in.
Where's my boy?
Only thing that would keep either of those guys off first team is injuries. That's it.
Where is Giannis on? Oh, there he is. Jesus.
Oh, and I should say next 5 years, not counting this year, just pencil Victor Wembanyama in there too.
Hey, let's go.
4 years after this year.
Just gotta give him a little bit of time, and I think he'll be there. Not a lot of time, but I think give him like 2 years and he'll be there.
All defense every year too.
Yeah, all defense for sure. Like, that's his calling.
I wish there was odds for. I would bet odds right now. Defensive Player of the Year his rookie season. Give me those odds. 10,000 to 1. I'd put money on it too.
For real.
Average like 5 blocks a game. He's a freak.
I tentatively want to. I tentatively
Bernie's
will
gonna put Robert Williams.
No, it's Joel Embiid, but my concern for Joel Embiid has always been the injuries for him. He's a phenomenal talent. I think he's one of the best centers in the league when healthy, but that's the biggest, what do you call those? Qualifiers. There you go. The qualifier for me is healthy, because I think every year there seems to be an injury with Joel Embiid, which continues to derail the 76ers seasons. If not, the coaching from Doc Rivers also continues to derail them as well. But I just think for me, like, I love Joel Embiid. I think he's a great guy. I think you need his personality, his leadership out there on the court. But the issue for me, like putting him on the first team sometimes, and the reason why I tentatively want to put him there right now is just the injuries. Because I think if he continues to get hurt, he continues to if he continues to get hurt, I think we need to have a discussion about Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, he's been healthy enough for me to think that this is a given this season. I mean, he's been pretty consistent. The thing for him is just like, are we talking like that final month of the season? Because that's like when he really starts to break down these last few seasons. You know, you get into these playoff series and you can see this dude is very tired from the regular season. But I think that's the beauty of the 76ers team. They're the Clippers of the East. They are absolutely loaded with players who could play on other teams. And he doesn't need to do everything. Like, we're going to talk about other guys for other awards coming up as far as their squad is concerned. He doesn't need to do everything, but he's going to have an insanely good season, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he played 68 games last year. So if he can, stick around something like that again this year, I think he's a surefire shot for first team.
Yeah, I mean, I have 65 as like my cutoff for like being on an All-NBA first team for me personally. So I think if he continues to hit that mark, I think he'll be fine. Because I mean, again, I'm all about getting your rest when you need it. Obviously, I'd like them to let the people know when their rest days are, so fans don't get screwed like that. But I do think that Joel Embiid, first NBA team, I think it's going to be penciled in. It's the playoffs that I'm a little bit worried about. And so I don't, again, that may be the reason why, like, my mind is like, okay, I keep picking Joel Embiid in the first team, but the injuries continue to be a factor for him in the playoffs. And so maybe that's what I need to change my mindset to, is like, okay, it's just playoffs that Joel Embiid just can never stay healthy for, and not just the regular season.
I mean, for the last few years, that's it for him. He just loses all steam ahead once it gets to those final few weeks of wherever they're at. And if there was anything I would change about All-NBA, dude, I wish they would include playoffs into All-NBA. I know like that it would.
Playoff team would be nice.
Yeah, that, or just like the All-NBA first team should be only players who make it in the playoffs. Like, I like that a lot, because I don't really understand like having dudes who get knocked out in the first round and don't show up at all. Like that was always our thing with Rudy Gobert, Bernie, making All NBA, or not even just Rudy, but there was one person we would always get on his case about getting towards All NBA, and it wasn't him either. It's just people who I just hate when dudes get bumped in the first round and then we're supposed to say, yeah, first team All NBA. But we haven't watched. We've watched other players make it far. Yeah, Ismail in the chat. Ismail, however you say your name. Wait, I know we're not leaving any Suns players out, or leaving all the Suns players out.
The Suns are cooked, brother. They're cooked.
I do think we should probably put Devin Booker's face at least in potential All NBA third team. Is that too? Not that it matters, but it's rude.
That's just pleasing. That's just people.
I mean, the dude was first team last season, Bernie.
Last year. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like. I'm the biggest Devin Booker hater out of all of us, but
he's gonna score, and I don't know. I might be a bigger Devin Booker hater. I don't know.
Are you, Brad?
I think Jaylen Brown's better. Like I know Jaylen Brown is better actually, and he can't even dribble.
Honestly, Brad, I know Jaylen Brown is better too, and he can't dribble. You're not wrong. He's better than Devin Booker. There are so many people who would hate that take, but honestly, I challenge you guys. If you think Devin Booker is better than Jaylen Brown,
Ismail's going nuts in the chat right now. What you said.
Ismail, Booker can't play defense, my guy. He can't. He was the worst guard defender in the league last year.
Honestly, if we're doing this right now, Brad, Devin Booker, let's see you be on a good team without Chris Paul, without veteran leadership telling you what to do and leading you to the promised land, Devin Booker. We have never seen Devin Booker be the leader of a good team.
Can't do it.
Never seen.
Can't do it.
All
he brings to the table is scoring. That's crazy. You put $10 on him winning MVP, bro. Go get your money back.
I don't think anybody can win MVP if they get upset with mascots when they're taking free throws. I just don't think it's possible. You shouldn't be able to see the Raptor in your peripheral vision if you're a true MVP talent.
Can I give you a guy that I think will make NBA first team that you guys put him a little bit lower on the list?
Let's hear it, Bernie.
Let's hear it, yeah.
I got Trae Young making the first team this year.
Nice Trae. Whoa.
Over Luka?
Yep. I think over Luka.
Oh.
Because I think Trae Young, and this is the long battle between Luka and Trae Young, the infamous draft between those two guys. I think the thing for me when it comes to Trae Young is I think that their team will have a better record than Luka's team. And I understand that team success is never included in the All-NBA teams, but I think you have to consider Trae Young at some point. If their team is better, if their team is the 4th or 3rd seed in the East, I understand you could, if you want to put those like, oh, well, 3rd team in the East is, does not weigh as much as like, 5th in the West. But I think that Ice Trae, if he gets their team to 4th seed, I think that you are going to see Trae Young hopefully making the NBA first team, because I think that that's kind of where I'm at with Trae right now. And I need Luka. And again, it's not his fault. I know that he has Dinwiddie now. He has Christian Wood. But I still think they're one player short from making it, from winning big things.
Here's my only counter to this, Bernie. I don't think there's any way Trae beats Luka in terms of getting first team All NBA, but that's you're totally free to have that opinion. Here's the problem though. I think if the Hawks are that good, if they're that team and they somehow get a top 4 seed, it will be less because Trae is that great and more because their team is good and because DeJounte Murray is impacting their team winning more. So I think like realistically, if they're that good, more likely than Trae being first team, it would be Trae and DeJounte making All NBA 2nd, 3rd team, like splitting votes between each other. I think that's more likely, but you're welcome to have that opinion. You have Luka 2nd team though on your list?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's real tough. Yeah. I think Trae stats, like Pete said, will probably take a step back because of DeJounte, DeAndre Hunter coming through. Yeah, that's tough. First team, that's tough.
Oh, I think PD's calling
Ismail said this guy's either Utah
or Mavs.
Utah or Mavs fan? Well, funny thing is I hate both of those teams, so.
Except for the Mavs. I thought you love the Mavs because of Luka.
Oh, I love Luka. I hate the Mavs. Are you kidding me? I love Luka. I don't like Jason Kidd as a coach. I don't like any of their players on their team except for Luka. I just think Luka is, I mean, he's that guy. He is insanely good. And realistically, too, the thing, dude, Luka's in better shape than he's ever been in this season. Like coming into this season, he's going to be in better shape than he's ever been.
We all know Luka Dončić is the best Dončić, though.
Luka Dončić. Oh my gosh.
But you know, obviously we have our first, third, and second team, and obviously these are just guys that we put in here. I don't think we really made our formal list, but let us know in the comment section down below. What do you guys make of this list? Let us know if we got it right, we got it wrong, and let's kind of move on to the next part of this discussion.